remember we won the Champions League in Moscow. We had a party after a ceremony with the team. A couple of hours after the game, the CEO, David Gill, and he comes to me and says, Rio, shit. And I said, hey, it's cool. Who are you buying next year?
This was the night of the Champions
League. Yeah, night of the
League.
Champions League, we just won it. I was obsessed. I think we have to be a bit obsessed and a bit crazy.
You know, as a United fan, I remember you and Vidić together adding a huge aura to the team.
And there was a competitive between us.
Really?
Yeah, like we never spoke about it. I wanted to be the best, but Nemanja wanted to be the best. 95% I would say of the toughest games that I played were in training.
Really?
You got to remember, bro, I'm playing against Wayne Rooney, Carlos Tevez, Berbatov, Cristiano Ronaldo, Nani. That's better than 95% of the players out there.
Do you watch cricket?
Like when India plays Pakistan. Like, what is going
Was
on there?
that?
What is going on there? The crowd. My teammates in Manchester, they're quite like Phil Neville, Gary Neville,
Really?
all skulls. Yeah, they were free. Every now and again we used to play in training. I've been to India. I went to New Delhi a few years ago.
Fucking love you, Rio.
But I fucking love it there. It was unbelievable. Seriously, the energy, the culture, the food.
What would you tell that younger Rio about dealing with that moment?
That you have to talk and it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to cry. I learned through those dark days and those dark months after my wife passed, and my mum quickly passed away after that as well.
I think your wife's blessings are still with you. Feel her presence sometimes?
When the kids have milestone moments, you definitely feel that then.
Do you have these deep conversations with Cristiano ever?
Yeah. He's a deep guy, man.
I know how difficult it is to be a content creator and to run a podcast. A lot of respect for what you guys have done, man.
Oh, same for you, man. It's like you guys are creating like some crazy content and speaking to the biggest names. I need to bring Cristiano to India, isn't it? Is that my mission? Is that what the people want?
We would love that. The whole country would stop.
So when I come to India, when I bring my podcast, you need to take me on like a food.
Bro, happy to.
Yeah? This is a deal, yeah? We've said it live on.
Bro,
if I don't come, it's because of this guy.
You land up on any day at 4 a.m. I'll leave whatever I'm doing. I'll say goodbye to my girlfriend and I'll take Rio Ferdinand to eat some good food. Every time we get the opportunity to speak with a legend from the world of sport, my intention as the host of this podcast is to bring out a very deep, very psychological side of the person. I personally grew up idolizing Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidić both. I am a lifelong Manchester United fan, but I tried bringing out aspects of Rio's mind that would benefit any football fan of any club anywhere in the world. If you enjoy the sport, if you enjoy the subject of sports psychology, or even if you just enjoy getting to know someone who's achieved greatness in life, you will enjoy this conversation with the former Manchester United captain and legend, Rio Ferdinand. Big day for me to host this person on TRS, and I'm glad I can share this enjoyment and this moment with you guys. Enjoy the podcast. This was a very special day in the history of TRS. Rio Ferdinand, welcome to the Ranveer Show, brother.
Thank you very much, man. Good to be here.
Likewise. You know, usually I hold my fanboying until the end of the episode, but I gotta express some of it at the beginning because I watched you while I was growing up, and you were one of the first footballers I got to know when I actually understood what football is. You had those long dreadlocks back then. This is the first time we're revealing our new logo. And there's a lot of intention behind this logo. We're trying to go international. So I wanted it to be for this episode because this is a very, very special episode for me.
Oh, wow.
So
I feel privileged, man.
Yeah, you're kicking off a big new phase for us. And, you know, I'm kind of seeking your blessings a little bit. That's what we say in India.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, this is an episode where you can wish me good luck through the course of it. Because this is the phase where we go international.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah. Thank you. How are you, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yourself?
I'm great.
How are you enjoying the UK?
Love it. This is the first time in the UK.
Okay.
We were in Manchester last week. Loved Manchester as well. London, very different energy. Kind of like Mumbai. Yeah. How about you?
What, enjoying life?
Do you enjoy London or Manchester?
Yeah. Well, I'm originally from London.
Yeah.
And I spent obviously 12, 13 years in Manchester playing football, which is great. All my kids, three of my oldest kids were born in Manchester. But then when I retired, I moved straight back to London, where I'm from, and then I had 2 more kids in London. So nice mix. But London is the heartbeat of Europe.
Of Europe.
It's where it happens, man. The only thing we lack here is consistent weather.
Can be a little random. Raining one day.
Like today, I've got a raincoat, I've got warmth, I've got a t-shirt. I don't know what can happen today.
Right.
Sun, snow, rain.
What do you think living in London does to the mind? And I ask you this because this is something I've wondered about you a lot. Bro, you're going really hard at life, even post-retirement, and you don't see that with a lot of footballers. You're trying to build so much more. And we have so much respect for that as media professionals. But I've always wanted to ask you this, that how are you going so hard at life, even now?
Because that's who I am. I think my mum and dad were hardworking people. We didn't have a lot when I was young, but my memories of my youth is smiles, but my mum and dad working hard. What I saw is what I became, I think, and I'm trying to be like this with my kids. I don't want to have to keep telling them, because when you're told something too much by authority, you tend not to want to listen. But I think if they see good habits and your habits are consistent messaging, i.e. going to the gym. I go to the gym 3-4 times a week. My kids see that every time. We have a gym in our house, so they see me going in the gym, me and my wife. So a healthy lifestyle is what we push in our house without having to tell them. I'm fortunate I had a great career of football, put me in a position where I could probably just relax and not do nothing.
You had a legendary career, brother.
Thanks. But if I do that, what message is that sending to my children? Oh, my dad's lazy. He's just laying in bed. This is life. This is normal. I can lay in bed. My kids will then think that they can do that, where it's not reality. So they see my good habits. They see my wife's good habits. We're getting up, we're going to work. And we have drive to achieve something more. Then hopefully the kids will see that and want to be like that as well.
I'm very curious about your childhood because I've heard you speak about your time at West Ham, and you had that intensity in your heart in order to become the best. Like you kept challenging yourself. You keep talking about this. And we're talking about it right now as well, where you're still intense and you're trying to be the best version of yourself at this stage of your life. Because I think your main role is not being a center back anymore. It's being a father.
Yeah, definitely, right? Yeah.
So you're trying to do your best as a dad. I kind of want to know a little bit more about your childhood. What happened in terms of your heart? You didn't have the easiest childhood, but what did your own consciousness notice about the world? Because not everyone can become a world-class footballer and then become a media mogul as well. So I'm sorry I'm saying this, bro, but there's something that's gone a little wrong in your childhood, which helped your life go super right. I'd love to know about what happened there.
Yeah, I think adversity always, it can do one of two things. It can set you up to go and achieve and dispel the adversities and push it down, or the adversity can be a defining factor in kind of keeping you on that track and ruining your life. And it depends which side you fall on. I think that, again, I go back to my parents. I saw hardworking parents. I saw parents who had empathy and compassion for other people. My mum helped a lot of people where I grew up. If there was problems on our area where we were from, my mum would always be at the centre of it to try and help. A lot of the other mums helping with their children. Some mums didn't have money for this or that, for food. My mum would try and help in whatever way she can. My mum helped deliver some babies with other families that we grew up with. So I saw that empathy and the compassion for other people, and it becomes your product of your environment, you know. And I think that one of the best things that my parents passed down to me was that you should try everything. Where you're born, your circumstances cannot totally define you and mean that you're going to have to stay there. It's a springboard to then achieve something else and get somewhere and shoot for the stars. Dream. I always feel that, like, I had a lot of dreams when I was a kid. One of them was to be a footballer. Luckily, I'm one of the 1% that fulfills that dream. But we have dreams of different levels. You know what I mean? I'm dreaming now to create something new, and be remembered for something else other than football. That's a dream of mine. I'm trying to achieve it. We all must dream. We all got to be kids still.
What do you want to be remembered for? now?
Being a good dad will be the first, probably, and husband. But career-wise, I don't know what it is yet, but to be remembered. If I walk down this, I always say this: if I walk down the street in 5 years, or in 10 years and beyond, and people, the first thing everyone's saying to me is about football and winning and Man United, then I haven't really done what I needed to do in the next phase of my life.
And that's a Man United legend speaking.
Not that I don't want to be known for that. That's great. I like it, and I love my memories. But for me to achieve something great, it has to kind of overcome what I've done with Man United. It's a big ask. So, but that's the dream I have, man. I'll put tasks, and I like challenges. You don't get successful. Look, you're challenging yourself now, taking your podcast around the world. You could easily sit and just enjoy it in Mumbai or wherever you're situated, but you're pushing.
Yeah.
And the best people, the best at what they do, push.
Yeah. You know, when we're playing cage football or we're playing in the rink, that's the closest that an average everyday fan gets to being a footballer. And on some level, I think every fan tries mimicking some of their favorite footballers. When I'm defending, I always try being Rio Ferdinand. Like, I remember exactly how you were. Aggressive, athletic, quick, you'd communicate a lot. And for that 1 or 2 hour period, I'm Rio Ferdinand because I saw you growing up. I think I speak for a lot of Manchester United fans who enjoy defending more than they enjoy attacking. So you've already created that impact, not just on fans in England, but all over the globe. You know, it's really inspiring for me to see that you're trying to take it even further. How do you feel about this when people say these things to you?
Yeah, no, it's crazy because I've been lucky. Football's allowed me to travel around the world and to see the reaction in different places. Even now, me and a few of my old teammates, Nemanja, Vidić, Edwin van der Sar, BeerBiceps, Ji-sung Park, we went to South Korea for a Legends game.
Yeah, but you were wearing the...
the local clothes. But we're like, even then we couldn't, you have to pinch yourself that even I've been retired 10 years and people are still coming up and you still got crazy fans that are going crazy about what we achieved and what we've done. And those memories are living long. And it's a wonderful thing to have that. I feel really blessed and privileged to be able to have that reaction from people. And I've been to India. I went to New Delhi a few years ago.
We love you, Rio.
But I love it there. It was unbelievable. Seriously, the energy, the culture, the food, the music, like the colors. Like it was just like that. And what I loved about it was that energy. And just the fact that I can go to somewhere in the world that I've never been before. I didn't know what reception I'll get, and to get a great reception like I received was just like mind blowing.
Yeah, bro. We're very emotional people.
Yeah, I love it.
And if something triggers our emotions, we really want to put it out there for the world. You know, and football's just starting to grow in India, brother. And I've asked the Indian football team captain, Gurpreet Singh Sandhu, about how we can help further it. Unfortunately, politicians and bureaucrats affect football in India not in the best way. So the only way to grow it is to make it a part of our culture. And I think in about 20 years' time, we're going to see a few Indian footballers playing in European leagues. That's what we hope for, because we have so many people. We know that talent exists in India. We're just not given the right coaching facilities and we're not supported by the system.
They got to invest money into the infrastructure.
Yeah.
To help build the young. You've got so many people there that you've got a great opportunity to create players, but their money and the investment needs to be put into the grassroots.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the pyramid to grow up to being a team that will have players that you can then export. And then be loved and appreciated around the world.
Yeah. The Indian version of Rio Ferdinand is someone called Sandesh Jhingan. He's been a main centre back in the team for a long time. And I'd had him on the show. And I asked him about how to increase football culture in India. He said that we need people in the streets talking about it and people in restaurants talking about it a lot more. So this whole project about talking to you, bringing you on an Indian podcast, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I love you and I'm a big fan and I really want to gift you. But I've also got this mission to increase football culture in India. And also a lot of young kids who'll be exposed to football through this podcast. They should start supporting Manchester United.
Yeah, start now. Start now. Don't go anywhere else. If you go anywhere else, which camera do I need to look at here? These guys, talk to them. Do not support anybody else. The red shirt is the only one, Man United. It's the only one to come back. We had a bad time recently, but we're coming back. Trust me. It's things like I should go on tour in India and bring my podcast on tour. And interview some people that are influential people, because like sometimes certain parts of the world are starved of getting up close and personal with people that they see on TV. And I want to get through that and cut through that. And I think that, listen, we've met now. We'll continue communication. We'll see where we get.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
I'd love to see you interacting with some of our top cricketers because they are Manchester United fans.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys my age. Do you watch cricket?
A little bit, yeah. I'd just love to see when there's big moments.
Right.
Like when India plays Pakistan. Like, what is going on there? What is going on there? The crowd.
Yeah, bro.
Like, and there aren't many sports that just take over countries.
Yeah.
Football does that. Cricket does that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I attended the FIFA World Cup final, the Mbappe versus Messi final.
Ah, yeah.
And that was the first big international match I'd attended.
Wow, it's a good one to go to. Wow.
Bro.
Has cricket ever made you feel like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the Football World Cup had happened in December, right? There was one stand full of Argentina fans, and that's why I felt passion just like exploding from there. But a couple of months prior, we had an India-Pakistan match at the MCG, where the Melbourne Stadium was just full of lots of brown people who are all very passionate. The Indian fans are passionate, Pakistani fans are passionate. Bro, there was so much tension in the air, but also love for the same sport. That's probably the most intense sports atmosphere that I felt. And I adore football. And I felt the same atmosphere from that one stand. But the FIFA World Cup had a lot of neutrals as well. Here it's...
Yeah, I'd love to go to that game, that cricket match, and just feel that energy.
Yeah.
Like, back in the days, in my generation, there was a lot more tension in the stadiums.
In football?
In football, yeah, a lot of tension.
Really?
Yeah, so that energy you're talking about, not as many. You had 100,000 people in that stadium.
Yeah. Roughly.
But it was it is great, and to be somebody who's on the pitch in them moments, that feeling. If I could bottle that feeling and sell it in the shop, you make a lot of money.
When you were playing, did you follow cricket that time as well?
I wasn't a massive fan. I think a lot of my teammates in Manchester, they quite liked cricket a lot more. Like Phil Neville, Gary Neville,
really?
Paul Scholes. Yeah, they were free. Every now and again, we used to play in training. In the gym, we'd play. I used to only want to bat. I didn't want to field. I hate fielding. It's boring. Standing there like this all the time. But
who was the best cricketer amongst that lot?
Phil Neville.
Yeah?
Yeah. They say he could have played for England.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they say he was really good. He chose at 15 or 14, he chose football instead of...
Yeah. Do you remember any Indian cricketers from that phase? Like do you remember anyone's names?
Yeah.
Sachin?
Tendulkar.
Yeah.
He's the guy, isn't it?
Tendulkar's
the guy.
Yeah.
Like that's the main name.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Is it Kohli?
Kohli.
Yeah. I don't know many, but Tendulkar just always stood out to me as like he's the most charismatic, and obviously what he achieved as well was like that was worldwide recognition. It's not just cricket fans that hear about someone like him. So, and that's someone that transcends the sport.
Yeah. I think every single cricketer who plays in the Indian team watches football.
Is it?
Yeah. And they're all fans.
Wow.
I know that Kohli is a big Cristiano fan. We've probably, out of the 11 guys who start regularly for India, I'd probably say at least 5 or 6 are lifelong Manchester United fans.
That's what I like to hear. That is what I like to hear. That's what I like. What about the other guys? What are they doing?
Bro, in India, we've got a lot of Real Madrid and Barcelona.
That's not bad. That's okay.
Yeah.
If it's an English team, then there's problems. I need to bring Cristiano to India, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, bro.
Has he been?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Is that my mission? Is that what the people want?
We would love that. The whole country would stop.
Is it?
Yeah, because, I mean, in India, people know football through Ronaldo.
Is it?
Yeah. So that's what football is for a lot of people.
And this generation, isn't it? He's dominated everything, him and Messi.
Yeah.
Why Cristiano and not Messi?
I mean, there are a lot of Messi fans as well. But, bro, in India, we've had Kohli speak about Ronaldo. So many Manchester United fans. Do you know Shah Rukh Khan? He's our biggest
Yeah.
I believe
Bollywood.
Yeah, he's also spoken to Manchester United in some films. So the Ronaldo celebrity culture has been there since the early 2000s.
Yeah, Cristiano is more of a celebrity sportsman than Messi, isn't he?
But people understand his mentality. Also, the thing is, between Messi fans and Ronaldo fans,
big rivalry.
Yeah. I think depending on who young guys pick as their favorite, it says a lot about the young guy's psychology. So the guys who are Messi fans, I think, have had a slightly easier life in my eyes. The ones who love Ronaldo also respect hard work.
Yeah.
So
adversity.
Yeah, that's what the Indian mentality is about. Which is why even your story about what we started the podcast with, that's what I wanted to dive into a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool. You spoke about gaining empathy from your mother. Do you think that empathy plays a role in a professional footballer's career?
It's a good question. It's crazy because I didn't have empathy when I played.
Really?
We had players that were injured. Anybody that I felt who couldn't add positivity to the squad, I was very much somebody who wouldn't really engage with that person, kind of like delete them from like existence, really.
Bro, you mean the vibe or the technical positivity?
No, the more of like if you're injured, you can't play, so you can't impact the game. Like, and if you're out for a long time, then yeah, but I'm not really spending a lot of time with you. Subconsciously, I didn't actually think about this and process this and go, this is how I'm going to be. I think it's just, I haven't got time for this. We want trying to win now. Do you know what I mean? So when you're back and you're ready, yeah, you come back in the group. And I think that if I look back now, I would like to have changed that to really help people get through those bad moments in their career. But I just didn't have the capacity to do that at the time. Once you was in the group and you're in and we're winning and we're playing together, I was like, yeah, all in. But yeah, empathy, I think, was something that I would like to have added to my makeup a bit more when I was a player.
Why?
Just on a personal level of being able to help other people more. Because a football career sportsman, it's not always a plain, straight road. Do you know what I mean? It's not everything's rosy, everything's positive. There's always a turn in the road you didn't expect. There's a bump in the road that is going to affect things a little bit. And then how you deal with it. And at every single turning point like this, there's a decision to be made or there's a reaction. And you always need a conversation or a bit of help from somebody to help you make the right decision. And I could have been there more maybe for teammates in those moments.
I think that's the father in you speaking.
Yeah, definitely. Right? I wouldn't have said this 15 years ago. I wouldn't have.
Like you were a bit brutal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But I think at the same time, if I had empathy, would it have taken away from the brutal side that would not enable me to still be at the top for a long time?
Yeah.
So it's I don't know, having one maybe takes away from the other.
You know, as a United fan, I remember you and Vidić together adding a huge aura to the team. So I'd love to know what you guys added on the field, not in terms of the football. We all know that. The solid defense, all that. But what was the energy you all added to the team? Because you're saying you were brutal. I would assume that he was the same.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, and there was a competitive between us.
Really?
Yeah, like, but we never spoke about it. I wanted to be the best, but Nemanja wanted to be the best. But over that, we wanted to be the best pair. And I think that's the big difference. You always have A side and B side in a partnership. And that's always the A guy and that's always the B guy. And the B guy always says, yeah, he's the A guy and I played a role where we wanted to both be A.
Yeah.
But we were happy to be the best pair and happier to be the best pair. And that was our strength. I wasn't looking to have more of the spotlight, nor was Nemanja. We were probably more comfortable being the best two.
You never spoke about this?
No. But deep down, I consider myself the best. Deep down, he would consider himself the best, I'm sure. But we never spoke about it. And I think that's out of respect for each other. But again, being the best individual wasn't probably the driving force for us. It was being the best pair to be the best team. And so it's a unique situation because there's always one that wants to be the guy.
Thanks for what you guys did.
Thank you. No problem. No problem. Yeah. We had a good time doing it as well.
The fans benefited off this. And honestly, I don't think when we look back, we can't pick between the two guys, which is the best case scenario.
Yeah, definitely.
But was there also friendship back then? There was.
Yeah, genuine. I mean, me and him spent a lot of time on recovery days where we were in the sauna or in the pool, just talking about general stuff, not football, about listen, we have to be like this, we have to do it. It wasn't technical. It was about families and about stuff going on in the world, just general talk where we had a lot of those conversations. Probably I had more with the time that we were together for 6 or 7 years. More probably those conversations with Nemanja than most others.
Yeah. You played FIFA back in the day?
I was the king.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to play pairs though.
Oh, really?
So it was me and Darren Fletcher or Michael Carrick quite a lot together, and we used to kill people.
Who was the worst players?
The worst players. Nani was poor. Wayne Rooney used to smash the control. But we used to play another game called SOCOM, which was like more of an army game.
Right.
And you have teams. It was one of the best things. In our most successful time, this game was the king game.
Yeah. Do you think gaming added any value?
Massive.
Like what?
I know what type of player you will be if I played FIFA with you.
Can we speak about this?
Yeah, like so if I knew that Wayne Rooney was a team player on FIFA or on the other games that we played with the army games, he would always come and help someone else. I know he's going to be like that in the pitch.
Damn, bro.
I mean, one of our goalkeepers, Ben Foster, selfish guy. But goalkeepers are on their own, selfish guys. Do you know what I mean? He's going to do what's best for him. Do you know what I mean? But the traits that I saw in all of these guys as players came out in the games on the consoles. It's weird, really weird, but it was really it.
Did you get better as a footballer on any level because of FIFA?
No, that wasn't at all. It was more of a team building thing.
Just understanding each other.
Yeah, understanding each other, team building, funny moments, like seeing some of the guys smash the remote controls. It's one of the greatest feelings, because you know you're hammering them and they're hurting and they can't control it. But yeah, just that team bonding. We used to go on trains, on buses, on planes, and play these games.
Wow.
So it was just by like killing time, but we're all together. Do you know what I mean?
Did you ever play FIFA with any of the England guys?
Yeah, we played FIFA and this other game. So SOCOM was the more dominant game. It's not around no more. It's a little bit like Call of Duty. We could play 7 aside, 6 aside.
Right.
And you'd have Chelsea boys, all the Chelsea guys in England squad against all the United guys.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we used to smash them.
But you also got to know their characters too.
Yeah, so you get to know them.
Like who?
Like Frank Lampard was a bit selfish on the game. I say he was as a footballer at times. John Terry was quite a team guy. You could see him organising stuff. You know what I mean? Ashley Cole was a bit of a team guy as well. So yeah, it's different. It's just gaming brings out it brings out a side of you, but it can be really reflective of who you are in football and probably other sports, I'm sure.
Did you feel like ratings were accurate?
No, I have a big problem with the guys at FIFA. I told them every year when it used to happen, I used to read it and go, whoa. The guy who's making this decision and writing these numbers has not seen me play. Good enough.
I'm sure you knew your teammates as well. Did you feel that those were also inaccurate?
Yeah, a lot of them. I used to ring them. I used to ring FIFA and say, guys, come on. But you're making me like I'm slow. I was one of the quickest guys around. And it wasn't my numbers wasn't reflecting that. So, but some of the guys today are the same.
I always felt like centre backs were always given very low sprint speed.
Yeah, like I was fast. There weren't no strikers that was running past me, speed wise.
Yeah, they've given good sprint speed to Mickey van der Veen now.
Yeah, he's fast.
Yeah,
he's crazy fast.
Right? You've got to be fast to be a good centre back. A little bit.
The best ones are fast. I think now the game is so much quicker now. That speed is a huge asset to any defender. Anticipation, but speed and patience. If you've got those things, you have a hell of a chance of being a top defender.
Speaking a little bit more about FIFA ratings, I still love playing with you in FIFA as well. That's what I remember this.
Yeah, I'm an icon card now. So all the kids, that's how they know me. They don't know me they never watch me play. But they say, you're icon card. Oh my, unbelievable.
How do you feel about that?
No, it's good, mate. It connects me to the next generation.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool. Like, I've got kids. I've got an 18-year-old, 16, 13, 3 and a 1. But the teenagers in my house, their friends all never watch me play probably. Maybe on YouTube. But they never really watch me play football.
Right.
But they all see me on the FIFA game and go, he must be cool. He's one of the icons. You know what I mean? So it's good. They give me a good score now. So it's good.
You know, people see an icon card, but behind the icon card is 30 years of a struggling period. That's what people don't understand. That to become that icon card,
hard work.
Tough childhood, tough teenage, tough college. And I mean, for you guys, the college is the beginning of your career. Time at West Ham, tough 30s. That's what it takes to be an icon.
Adversity, setbacks is part of it. I mean, you got to, and that's what I think school doesn't teach kids enough. In life, you're going to have more no's than yes. You're going to have more setbacks than really crazy positive times. The setbacks are going to be like harder to deal with. And I think in school, the curriculum's good and all that, but you've got to teach some people about reality and what's coming down the line. We actually don't teach young people and kids and growing up through your school years that death is a given, it's a guaranteed. So that's why there's always like trauma and there's always like fear, and because you're not prepared for it. But it's the only thing that's guaranteed in your life, that we're all going to die someday. But we don't talk about it. We don't teach anyone. Yeah. My wife passed away, the mother of my 3 children, which is like, it breaks your soul. But I feel that I probably would have dealt with it a lot better, and my kids would have, if we were taught about this and told that this is going to happen. And it could happen earlier for some people, unfortunately. But we're not taught this, so it becomes a real struggle for people to deal with, obviously, death, but adversity at different stages in your life. Because we're always taught everything's a fairy tale, isn't it? It's all good, it's all great. Everything always ends well. It doesn't in reality.
Imagine that there's another version of Rio in another timeline who actually needs the advice that you've learned now through your experience with your wife. What would you tell that younger Rio about dealing with that moment?
That you have to talk, you have to communicate, you have to ask questions, you have to ask for help. And it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to cry. As we're taught again as men, as young boys. Even I've done this. When my little boy falls over and he starts to cry, come on, get up, stop crying. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? That's what I always say. Why are you crying? My wife said to me not long ago, why are you asking him why he's crying? He's obviously fell down, he's hurt himself. But I definitely would say that to understand that it's okay to cry and to be sad at times, then to get out of that is to communicate. And I think that I learned through those dark days and those dark months, weeks, years after my wife passed, and my mum quickly passed away after that as well, which was like a double blow. I actually shot a documentary, and that was part of the process of healing, to one, help my children understand things and to give them something, a product to go, listen, one day watch this, because this is in real time how I was feeling, how we were, how our family was, but also to help other people. And one of the key things on that was that documentary allowed me to talk and to open up, because I think without the pressure of the documentary, I won't talk. I wouldn't have talked. And I quickly realized I need to. What is going to be the thing that makes me talk? It was committing to a documentary that was going to be able to be seen by many people on BBC. So I'd done that, and that was like a real cathartic way of helping myself get through that kind of terrible, dark time in my life.
Are you okay now?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm in a great place now. I mean, I've got another 2 kids. I'm married with a great wife. My family and my children are happy. And I think I look at my family and go, when my kids are in a room full of another 100 children, would they stand out as kids who have lost their mum and their nan quickly in quick succession? And I can safely say that they wouldn't stand out and be seen, because they're in a good place. And we are still, there are issues, and still there are tears sometimes, and still there are moments of, having to console children at different times. But where we could be to where we are now, we're in a really great place, thankfully.
A lot of respect, brother.
Cool, man.
Yeah. And more healing to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Because healing is like a lifelong process.
Yeah.
If I can cross a certain line with you, because I look at this as a very brotherly conversation. So just as a younger brother, I think your wife's blessings are still with you. Like, and the place you've reached in life, where you're trying to go, I think that her good wishes and her positive energy is still with you on some level.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You feel her presence sometimes?
Yeah, I think more on milestones. When the kids have milestone moments, whether they have exams or my 2 boys got accepted to play in a professional football team and stuff like that. My daughter does horse riding, she does something really well, or when something goes wrong, you definitely feel that then, and that energy, and you're also asking questions all the time of yourself. My wife does that as well. She wonders a lot if she's made the right decision for their mum, and which is a huge pressure as well that my wife puts on herself, which is unfortunate at times, but it's nice that actually she acknowledges that as well. And again, that's why she's the right wife for me, because her first interest, her first thing and thought is always about the children. But it's great. We've got a family now there's 7 of us. So big family, and there's always noise, there's always fun. Happiness is with us now. So we're on a good road.
Yeah. Taking away nothing from the hard work that you've gone through in your career and in this phase of your life, I'd love to say that you're a really blessed human being.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
And to be able to kind of walk the path that I have, as I said, ups and downs, has been like, I do feel blessed. Because not everybody gets to kind of fulfill dreams, be successful, win things, and have happy families. Not everybody gets all of them things.
If you don't mind me asking you, are you happy in life?
Yeah. I'm really happy with my family. But in business, I'm like, my belly is never full up. If you understand what I'm saying, I always say that if your belly's full, I don't think I can feel great. Like, it's not going to be. I need to get up and feel hungry. What's more to do? That's how I get up. Coffee, boom, I'm gone.
Yeah. That's how a 90 rated centre back thinks.
Yeah. Exactly. Maybe that's why I played at a good level, because I'm always striving. I was never satisfied, and in my career, I never sat and thought, we've won the Champions League and the Premier League this season. Yeah, let me enjoy that. I never felt like that. I was always like, I remember we won the Champions League in Moscow, and we won the league, done the double. Right?
Thank you for that night.
So we won that. Yeah, we had a party after ceremony with the team. All the directors, everyone's there, the family. On the way into this, a couple of hours after the game, the CEO, David Gill, was there. And he comes to me and says, Rio, shit, hugging, brilliant, great, we've won it. And I said, hey, cool. Who are you buying next year? Who are recruiting? And he looked at me and went, Rio, come on, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the night. Give it a rest. I was like, no, just let me know so I can enjoy myself tonight. Who are we going to get? Give me a little detail. But that was just me. I was always like, I didn't. And I used to think, if I enjoy it too much now and relax, that might affect me trying to win it next year.
This was the night of the Champions League.
Yeah, night of the Champions League, we just won it. But I don't know, I was obsessed. I think we have to be a bit obsessed and a bit crazy. The elite guys, I think there's always a little something there that's not quite wired right.
The elite guys, the 90 overalls, the 88, 87 overalls, when you guys are just hanging out, other than family and life, do you all talk about anything? Do you talk about each other's psychology? Do you push each other on any level?
No, but you do a lot of things that are competitive. Everything that you do turns into competition.
Really?
Yeah, like when we used to play at United, like there wasn't anything that we'd done. It was just, let's just do that for fun. If we played cards, it's to see who wins, score. Everyone's keeping score, or we played for money. But the manager didn't like that so much, playing for money. But when we played the computer games, it was crazy. The manager used to look back sometimes and say, hey guys, be quiet. We're all screaming and shouting because you want to win. Even the toughest games of football, some of the toughest, 95% I would say of the toughest games that I played were in training.
Really?
You got to remember, bro, I'm playing against Wayne Rooney, Carlos Tevez, Berbatov, Cristiano Ronaldo, Nani, Luis Saha in training every day. That's better than 95% of the players out there. So when I play a Champions League game or I'm playing a Premier League game, the guys I'm playing against are nowhere near the level I've been at every day in training with. So that's just sharpening the tools every day.
Did the defenders help the attackers get better?
Without us, the forwards are nothing. That's what we always say. But no, without them, we're nothing. We need each other, all of us. But what's great is I know, and what I used to get strength from, is that I know when I'm arguing with Rooney, or when Ronnie looks back, or Tevez or any of them guys look back, I know that they trust me. It's a big thing, man. But at the same time, I know that when we're in the last minute of the games, we've got 2 minutes left and we need a goal, I trust them. I trust them guys up there. And that trust in a team is like, that's what makes your team elite. It's a big ingredient.
One of my intentions with this conversation is to get deep into your psychology. And then I hope that somehow the universe makes it travel to the Manchester United squad as well.
Oh, that's a dream. We need that.
Right? Because I think that exactly what you're talking about, this deeper psychology of just wanting to win and keeping the competitiveness alive. I'm just a fan and I still love my club. I love all my players, irrespective of what the world says about them. But I think that that's what's missing a little bit.
Yeah, you got to have, me and Cristiano and Nani used to play table tennis most days before training. If someone came and watched them games, it was like, it was crazy energy. And it was you celebrate the win. And the person who loses, he gets hammered all day. You can't let him forget it. Do you know what I mean? We used to play basketball as a warm-up sometimes. It's competition. They tennis in training sometimes. Everything was competition because you can't turn competitive energy off.
Right.
You can't turn it on and off. You can't go, for 2 days I've turned it off and then I'll switch it back on, it's going to be fine. No. If you turn it off, it's going to go a bit lower. You turn it on, it will come back up, but it might not get back to that same height.
Mm.
And you keep doing that, it starts doing that all the time. And there's other people, their one's going up here. And that was we didn't think about that. We never talked about that. It was just in us. That was the culture.
DNA.
Yeah, our DNA, our culture, the environment demanded competition. And we loved it. It wasn't like, oh, it's just hard work to do this. It's just like, I don't know, table tennis today, I don't lose. Like I can't face losing. It's hard, man. Ruin your whole day. Fridays before a game on a Saturday, we played it always young versus old. Young team against the older team. The older team, we used to smash them every week.
How come?
Because of experience, understanding, togetherness. But we used to beat them, but they would never forget them games because we'd always be on them. Boom, boom, boom. But we made them harder. We made them stronger. And then when they're the older boys, they'll beat the younger ones again. But it was, to go back to your question, we would never really sit down and talk about this. It was just the culture that was there.
Trickle down from Sir Alex and his mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And we never appreciated that properly until he left. Because we all have egos. The best teams, there's a lot of egos in the change room. Macho. Who's going to be the main guy? Who's going to be the main guys? So you think with all the success, I'm playing a massive role. He's playing a massive role. And then the managers, manager's doing a great manager, but he has huge significance. He has huge kind of reasons as to why he is the main guy, because we only realized when he left. And he left, and as you can see, what's happened since he's left, the ship isn't as steady anymore, doesn't know exactly where it's going. You need a leader to direct you, and he was the guy.
Studying his mind and his thoughts has been my MBA. We run 4 businesses back in India. Every single team meeting that I have with my team, I'm trying to channelize Sir Alex Ferguson. I'm trying to channelize Rio Ferdinand, Vidić, trying to give the most to my team and be intense, keep that fire alive. And you know how they say that when you're a boy and you watch football for the first time, you're drawn to a football club and you don't know why you're drawn to that football club, but you just choose it. At least for the Manchester United fans back home in India, I've always noticed that the Manchester United fans are the guys who are intense. And that's what we were drawn to as kids. I think that people know a lot about Sir Alex's mind, but this thing you said about keeping that competitive energy alive within the locker room, I think on some level, he obviously would have noticed it, because his key lesson in leadership is observe. That's the first lesson he writes about. He says that he was the best observer in any room. That's what let him be Sir Alex Ferguson. So I'm sure he knew these things and he was egging you guys on. He probably encouraged it in some ways.
But also it's about recruitment. He's recruiting guys he knows can add to the culture like that, and they would embed themselves in that culture. Like recruitment is a huge thing. You have to understand people before they sign. Like I met him before I signed, but that meeting could have gone one way or the other, depending on the way that we interacted. So he's probably a good reader of people as well, understanding what culture he has and what ingredient they can bring. But I think one of his best traits, I think, yeah, great observing, obviously, but one of his best traits is that delegation and allowing other people to lead in certain areas. Like in our changing room, I don't know if you've ever heard this, but in our changing room at the training ground, we're there more than anywhere else. We're training every day at the training ground. How many times do you think Sir Alex Ferguson came into that changing room?
Apparently never.
I couldn't feel one hand. One of the times was to say he was leaving. One of the times when we was naughty as a team. But he allowed us leaders in there to govern the change room, to manage punctuality, manage standards, do you know what I mean? Manage that culture. And he allowed other people in other areas like SNC, sports, the conditioning area, the logistics person, the guy who's going to help with the physios, the doctor. Those guys ran their own areas and they report into him because he can't do everything. There's too much to do as a manager. There's enough just to do with the players. So he was great at that. And I think that, as I said, that allowed him to be who he was and use his strengths with the squad.
They say that the greatness of a boss is showcased by how the organization runs when the boss is not around. That's exactly what we're talking about.
No, definitely.
Hoping that Ruben can kind of mimic, hoping that this reaches Ruben.
Yeah, I think culture is everything, man. And also there needs to be repercussions for certain things.
You need to call out the bullshit.
Yeah, if there's bad performances, repercussions, you don't play. If bad attitude, bad body language, nip it in the bud quick. These things, you can't accept. There can't be allowance for certain things. Pep's team, there's a fear there. There's an underlying fear that he won't accept certain behaviours and certain traits if it's not beneficial to the team. Jurgen Klopp there's fear there behind it. As much as they're all laughing and nice, but there's a fear. We need some fear in Man United now. I mean,
that's the most important thing you just said.
You need fear. There needs to be fear that if I don't play well, I won't play. Yeah, if I don't run, the manager will take me out. He's going to scream at me. So someone's going to be not happy with me. At the moment, everything's too nice. Everyone's friends. Sometimes you need to fall out. It's not a bad thing to fall out. It's not a bad thing to have uncomfortable conversations. You have to be comfortable there. But if you're doing it for the right reasons, it's good to have that.
I'm going to take it back to my own career just for a bit. Didn't do an MBA. Didn't know how to run a business. My business knowledge came from watching interviews of you guys. Understanding how you guys ran the locker room. And a lot of adult football fans, I think on a subconscious level, still follow the sport for that exact reason. The greatest mistake of my career is that on our first talent management agency, we used to openly say that, hey, we have a family culture. And there was good intention behind that. There was togetherness behind that. But that was the mistake because people started taking advantage of working with your elder brother. And we quickly switched that on a cultural document and turned it into sports team mentality and added intensity, added fear. And it's been the best career decision I've made for all the businesses. I think that what you're talking about, this element of fear, this is at the DNA of any great team. Like you spoke about Guardiola running City. We had Gundogan on the show a few days ago. He spoke about the exact same thing. He said that even within the players, there's competitiveness and you have to keep the level high or you're going to be dropped, maybe for a young player.
Yeah.
Feel that a little bit missing at United lately over the last...
Yeah, that's been, I think that's easy to see. It's not been there. And that needs to change. I think it's accepting below top tier eliteness has been something that's been in the club for a while now. And if you're going to be successful, you can't allow for substandards. And it has to come from the top. And it's weird. I mean, even in my businesses, even with the media company we have here, the podcasts and stuff, I put in the extra work. I go the extra mile, whether it's researching, whether it's exhausting my contacts book or traveling here, there and everywhere to make sure that we get the right people, the right interviews, the people behind the camera, always pushing the envelope as what's new on the market. Never rest, never be satisfied. Oh, we've got the great new ones now, but what's coming down the line? I want to know. We need to be first. And so that energy creates a culture that really I don't want to have to be pushing these guys, but I have to start. And then hopefully they take it on and then now pushing someone on the next in the chain. And that's how I hope that it works.
I love your office because you feel the Manchester United culture here.
Oh, good.
That's what it is, right? I think that's what you've tried to do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Brought Man United culture to this office.
Yeah. You bring what you know. It's like I said at the beginning of the interview about my mum and dad. I work hard because I saw what hard work looked like. So I know what hard work looks like. My mum and dad work bloody hard. And so these guys who I'm working with need to see what hard work looks like. So they can't take shortcuts. I don't take shortcuts. I'm at the top. So you shouldn't be doing it. And that's how I was with Alex Ferguson. I used to get into the training ground and try and be first in sometimes. His car was always there. He's in first, last out.
When you're podcasting with someone, you get to know something. I'm sure you've gotten to know me. I've obviously gotten to know you. You have a really deep mind, man. You're a deep thinker. And you're an intense guy. As a fan, I'd like to know if you ever considered becoming a manager, because I would love to see your mind in charge of my club at some point, maybe.
Yeah, I would never say no, but I was doing my coaching badges. I wanted to be a manager, but when, like I said, unfortunately, my wife passed just at the stage where I was going to go into full-time coaching, like do my badges and stuff, and really commit to it. But I had 3 young kids and I had to commit somewhere and it had to be them. So I chose my kids and being there and bringing my kids up over being a manager, because I could still go to work but I can switch off a little bit. When you're a manager, there's no switching off. It's constant. I know friends of mine who are managers now, and the difference between when I go for dinner with them now or when we're just chilling compared to when before they was managers is a huge difference, because they're not really with me. Yeah, they're there, but they're not there, because every minute they're getting at us, like, just gonna take this call, come back. Yeah. Anyway, so where was we? I'm talking, and I can see them thinking about the call, or thinking about logistics, thinking about injuries, thinking about recruitment. They've got all these things to think about. How am I going to set my team up this week against this team? And so they're not really, and that's how they're going to be at home. And so, because their wives will tell you. So I knew that I then couldn't do that to my kids who needed me at the most critical time of their life. So I had to make a decision. So I chose obviously my children, which I would choose every single time. But it meant that management was a distant memory. Maybe in the future it might change, who knows?
What's the motivation behind being a manager for a football player?
It's just the love of the game. You love football, man. I've had to change my direction, but it's still within football. We're just addicted to it. It's like a drug, man. You can't get away from it. Like, to completely disconnect from football would be alien to me.
Yeah.
And there's only a few people that that do that and that can do that. But I was wired to just be involved in football in any capacity.
Does the mental health of managers get a little fucked?
Yeah, they're up people, man, because their life is just consumed with negativity.
Like being criticized all the time.
Yeah, look how great Pep has been in recent times, but he still gets negative energy and negative criticism at times. Loses a few games. Oh, he's finished. Like, what he's done before that and what he's achieved and the records he's broken, the trophies he's won. You're going to start doubting him after 4 games? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, really. No other business that would happen. Doesn't happen in the business world. A guy's closed the biggest and best deals for the last 10 years, and he has a bad month, and you think he's going to get the sack. He's probably got another 5 or 6 years off the back of the previous 10 years that he's been successful. But it's different in football and different in sport. But that's the life. That's the game we chose. So it's life. You have to accept that, and I'm sure Pep and all these guys accept that. But management's difficult, man, because like the life cycle of a manager now is around, I think the average is around 6 to 7 or 8 months. It's not long in a job. So it's difficult. You've got to get in and start well and continue and be consistent. The demands are high.
Too much scrutiny, too many conflicts that you're resolving. That's what I think a manager's world is.
Yeah, it is. But it's life.
Right.
You sign up to it. It's like when we played football, we get criticised. But it's part of it, man. It's part of the journey. There's, like I said, there's the adversity, the trials and tribulations. It's life. It's normal. So, but it's good. It's working these things out. It's like the podcast. We had a podcast. I've done it. It started as a magazine before, but it's got to change, and you've got to be willing to change. And then you change it, and then it becomes a YouTube channel. But then obviously now it's a podcast. You've got to be willing to update and change, and be willing to go through some noise and negativity at times, and it comes with it. But you've got to get through it and change into what we've created now of Rio Presents. It's been the best thing we've done. We've had some of the biggest names in world football: Cristiano Ronaldo, David Beckham, Lewandowski, and more to come. But that doesn't happen without a bit of adversity.
I know how difficult it is to be a content creator and to run a podcast. A lot of respect for what you guys have done, man.
No, same for you, man. It's like you guys are creating like some crazy content and speaking to the biggest names. There's pressure on that for you. Can you sit across the table with these guys? Can you get the best out of them? Can we see a different side to them that no one else has pulled out?
Yeah. I feel a lot of scrutiny as well, man, because we're putting out 4 episodes a week. So obviously the audiences get to know me. I'm growing up in front of the world, which I'm sure is a problem for a lot of footballers as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? That growing up in front of the world thing, when you look back, you're like, I was kind of stupid.
Pressure.
Right?
And it's like, you're not allowed to make the mistakes that someone your age is making.
Yeah.
They're seen as normal for them. You, it's different. I got into quite a lot of trouble when I was young, going out too much, getting involved in some of the wrong things. And I used to sit there at the beginning and go, like, but my mates, my friends are doing all this. And my dad said to me, but you're not your friends. Like you're not your friends. None of them have got a podcast like this with a name and initials like this. Don't even have to say your name now. You're that big. Give the initials. It's just, that's it. Yeah. But so you can't act like everybody else, unfortunately, and you have to accept it.
Yeah. That's the trade-off.
Mm.
What's the trade-off when you're a footballer? If you could only pick 3 things, because I'm sure there's 100 things, but what are the 3 biggest trade-offs to become a successful world-class footballer?
You're not anonymous no more. You don't get to just like go out and be anonymous and just go to the shop without having any interaction with anybody. It doesn't happen now. Can't happen. And it can be tiring, that, man. Do you know what I mean? But it's part of it. Family not being able to have you all to themselves. Like I go to places when my kids were younger, they used to say, Dad, are you coming today to a fun fair place? I said, why are you asking that? He said, because when you're there, too many people come, Dad. And then I'm not having great time with my kids. So you have to accept sacrifice with your family. And they have to accept that as well. But what I would say, there's as many, if not more, good ones.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I've traveled and seen places I never dreamed I could go to. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'm accepted in places where I would never have been before.
Yeah. Do you also feel the love?
Yeah, I do. And that's one of the nice things when you retire.
Yeah.
You allow yourself to openly actually take in the adulation and the nice comments. You take it in and you're like, okay, you know what? So all that hard work, it did mean something. Yes, you won X, Y, and you won stuff, which is there and it's going to in record books, is fine. But the human element and the human touch is like, that's what, and when my kids see that, because they didn't see it, they didn't know.
Yeah. We were speaking about Kohli some time ago. He's the Cristiano Ronaldo of cricket. I met him briefly and I asked him this exact question. We spoke a little bit about trade-offs and I asked him that, do you realize how many minds you're impacting and inspiring all over the world who don't want to become footballers or cricketers, but they just want to go about their own career? We gain our mentality from you guys. Are you aware of that?
No, not when I was playing.
You just kept playing?
In retirement, yes. Because when you're playing, you don't, I don't know if everyone's the same, but I was very much like, I can't have too many things coming in that's going to distort the picture going forward. So I need the picture there clear. I can't have too much information, too much about everything else and trying to understand my impact on other people too much. I think at a base level, you understand what you need to understand quickly. You have a responsibility to young people, especially when you're coming out as a young star, that people are going to follow you. But much more than that, didn't interest me. I was just really trying to focus on football. Like I said, how many family parties I missed, birthdays, weddings, christenings. I missed blessings. I missed so many things, but my family understood. They knew why. And I had to understand that quickly as well.
Do you have these deep conversations with Cristiano ever? Because I feel...
Yeah. He's a deep guy, man.
Yeah.
He's like that from when he played. He's a really curious guy.
Good conversationalist.
Yeah, he's curious and he wants to talk and he talk about everything, like not just football. And football's probably the last thing he wants to talk about. He's very good at talking about different things and he's very curious about exploring other things outside football as well, which is good.
Do you think one of his underrated skills is his self-coach psychology? Like what I sense is that if he asks many questions, he wants to keep adding data to his head.
Yeah.
And then see the data in his own head and then pull out the best bits for his journey.
Yeah. That's one of his strengths, 100%.
Yeah.
You have to understand, this guy is calling NASA to help with recovery. Who the fuck's doing that? Nobody's doing that. It's crazy stuff. But he's looking for the margins, small margins. And if he can get enough small margins, then he's going to get above everybody else. That's the way he thinks. And he's never satisfied. Like I interviewed him the other day for my YouTube channel. And I was saying, bro, you've got nothing else to prove, man. You've proved who you are. But this guy is just obsessed. He's crazy. He wants to do more. There's more to be done. And you have to respect that.
Yeah. One layer deeper, why does he feel that? Why does he feel like there's more to be done?
It goes back to competition.
That competitive muscle.
Yeah. He's so competitive. Like if somebody writes something negative about him, he knows who that person is. Like really, should he care? He shouldn't even be seeing or feeling or hearing anyone. because he's so far ahead. But he needs fuel. He needs fuel still to produce the best and to be at the tip top.
Yeah.
And he's still doing it.
Chasing greatness comes from normalizing the sense of competition in your own head. Normalizing that sense of competition, according to me, comes from adversity in your childhood. I don't see any other reason for competition to be there. Little random question for you, but amongst the world-class guys you played with or against, were there kids who came out of rich backgrounds
Yeah.
and they were still able to go for it?
One of the hardest workers I played with, Frank Lampard, his dad was a footballer, lived in a nice house, beautiful house. I used to stay there sometimes and think, oh, one day I wish to be like this. Had all the nice clothes. Dad drove a Mercedes, went to private school, was one of the hardest players I ever worked with.
How did he gain that muscle?
His dad.
Genetics?
His dad, yeah, but his dad was very on him. His dad was on him and made him want to prove his dad. And it made him there was a hardness to him. And you think that background that I just said would create a softness to most people. But I think that's why I always think parents are vitally important, or good influences, guardians around you to influence you in the right way and positive ways.
Early on in this episode, I was going to ask you about how you ensure that middle class mindset transfers itself to your kids. But I think you answered it indirectly.
Yeah, but I have this conversation with all my friends. A lot of my friends have got a lot of money now, live in gated communities. The children are getting driven everywhere. The children get a lot of stuff. And I always say, my kids, two boys want to be footballers. And I'm always asking and talking to friends and people, how do I create the hunger that I had in these two? I was hungry to get away from where I lived and to get my mum and dad out of there. That was one of my drivers to get out. But my kids haven't got to get out of nowhere. They're happy. They got soft sheets. They got soft bed. They got everything. Nice warm floor under their feet. So what are they trying to get away from? What's pulling them out? What's pulling them out to go training when it's cold, when it's snowing, when it's raining, on their own, when no one's looking, when the lights are off? Who's pulling them out? How are they going to get out there? And as a parent, I just try to talk and show, like I say, show a work ethic to go to the gym. Don't need to go. Can say, no, I'm going. I'm showing good consistency. I'm going to work every day. They're seeing that I'm at work and they're seeing me doing X, Y, and Z, traveling here and there. Sometimes I'm away for 5 days. Where's Dad? I'm at work. Consistently. So there's different ways I'm trying to make my children feel that, but we'll only know the answer to that in the next 5 years.
Do you remember that hunger?
Yeah. It never leaves you, man. That's why I'm so hungry now. I know what hungry feels like.
Physically hungry.
Yeah, physically, but also mentally, like that. I know that where I grew up was nice. Don't get me wrong, I loved it. Great time, great memories. But I could see that there was better out there as well. And I wanted my mum and dad to have that and to feel that and not have to worry about having to pay bills. That was one of my big drivers. And like changing things for my brothers and sisters. So, and I went a good way to do that. But now I want my kids to still be that guy, to be thinking about that. I want them to take care of me now. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to keep supporting them. You take care of me, man. I took you to all the nice restaurants, all the nice holidays, nice plane, going on holiday. Take me one day. Serious.
Yeah. Not that you need.
I don't need help, but I want it.
Yeah.
I want to be proud to say one day, they've done this for me. They love me most of all, but they was able to do this for me as well. And sometimes I'll probably say no. I'll do it, but I want you to be able to do it.
There's so many tangential questions I have just about aging as a man. Because for me, I mean, yeah, sure, we're shooting a podcast and everything, bro. But the actual process here is me meeting world-class human beings and gaining some value for the sake of a lot of people all over the globe. So I have some tangential questions related to like fatherhood, if you're okay with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there still a footballer inside you being a dad to your kids?
Yeah, at times. But I always want to be the parent, not the coach or the agent. Do you know what I mean? I think There's a lot of parents out there that are trying to live their dreams through their kids. I had my dream. I want them to just follow their dream now. And if it means being a footballer, great, but I'm not going to push you. I'll help you, I'll talk to you, but I really have to pull myself back because sometimes I want to say so much, but I think but that will mean that I'm not parenting. I'm being a coach, and I don't want to be that. I don't want them to come to me and think, oh, damn, my dad's going to go talk about this all the time. And I try and have my moment and then bring it back to being a dad and having fun.
Do you ever talk about this to Ronaldo as well, about fatherhood?
Yeah, we talked about this, because he's got a young boy. He wants to be. His boy's a bit younger than one of my boys, so he wants to be a player as well. And it's like Cristiano's quite relaxed about it. We spoke about it. He's quite relaxed about it, but it's going to be hard because these kids have got big names behind them, so it brings pressure. It brings pressure to them. More eyeballs, more people asking questions, and it's how they deal with it. And I've always tried to make it that you're not Rio Ferdinand's kids. You're you. And you happen to just have a dad who played football rather than have that big pressure.
Right. Would you ever send your kids to India? Because that's a very perspective building nation.
For what?
For experiences.
Yeah, I'd send my kids anywhere, man, just to give them real life experiences.
Yeah. I mean, at least in my life's experience, I feel like travel has been the single biggest teacher.
Yeah, and I like seeing different cultures. And I mean, when I came to India, one of the big takeaways for me was like the disparity of wealth. Alongside government buildings, and then the poverty's right next door. It was really like eye-opening.
Yeah.
But the amount of smiles that I saw was like as much as I've seen anywhere in the world. And the happiness, and going into places of extreme poverty, but people are happy. It was so weird to me to see, but just enjoying the breath of life. And I hadn't been many places in the world to see anything like that. I've been a lot of places. So for my kids to come to somewhere like India would be, on many levels, I think would be really kind of educational for them and to appreciate life in some aspects.
Also, when you really travel through the country, you end up having a lot of conversations about death. We spoke about that some time ago. That's a skill that you don't learn from school. We have a city of death called Banaras, where Hindus go to burn bodies. And when you stand on like the ghats, the places where they burn the bodies, and you actually see human bodies burning, you have to face the demons in your own head. Something gets cleansed inside you. And if you're ever in India, we'd love to take you there at some point.
I saw a funeral when I was there in the street.
Yeah.
So lots of people walking, and I wondered who they celebrating? What's a wedding? And then I saw a body just come through on a stretcher with all the flowers, beautiful coloured flowers, like really strong colours. But it felt so normal there. And that was a real big thing for me. This is before my wife had passed, but when I did actually think about that when my wife passed, like if I'd have been so exposed to death before, I might be handling this differently. But it's I think there's a lot to learn from different cultures.
Yeah,
a lot.
When we come here, when we come to the western part of the world, we take away a lot of career
What
stuff.
are you taking from us?
A great day, firstly, but mentality, man, going for greatness, ambition. We have these things in India, but we've learned it from you guys, honestly, because you know what socialist is? We had a bit of a socialist mindset till the early 90s. So I'm born in 93, the first generation that's seen a capitalistic India, and we've learned it from you guys. Like, it took some time for my parents to understand why I like football. But I liked it because I could see Rio Ferdinand's mindset through the screen. So when we're traveling here and I'm getting to engage like this, bro, I want to become a brain just like yours. Of course, I'll never become the footballer that you are.
Yeah, but there's some things that I'll pick up from you. Do you know what I mean? There's something, that's why these conversations I think are always nice and important, because I could learn from anyone in this room.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think it's about like managing your ego, like becoming humble and staying humble enough to be able to accept conversations with other people, because you might get 1% out of someone that could change your life, man.
Yeah. That's exactly how I look at the podcast. And people don't understand this about podcasting, that it can be a very mentality building process for someone who's hosting a show, meeting people like yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
One last Indian question for you. Do you like Indian food?
Oh, I love it, man.
Yeah?
Oh. But a big question for you first, actually.
Sure.
The Indian food we have here
Yeah.
isn't the Indian food you have back home, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a little European.
Yeah, because I say dishes and so like Indian people say we don't never have that back home. Like I don't know, like it's crazy, but bro, if I've got a top 3 Indians in it, top 3 foods.
You're asking me?
No, for me, my top 3 foods. Like if I'm picking from anywhere, that I would pick as my last meal, and my top 3 Indian will be there. My wife's Sunday roast dinner is one of them, and Caribbean food like jerk chicken is 2, and Indian dishes. I don't know what it would be. A tandoori mixed grill with vegetable sag maybe.
Sag?
Yeah, 4 chapatis. What else would I have?
You like butter chicken?
No, don't like butter chicken.
Biryani?
Yeah, I don't mind biryani. Yeah, biryani's nice. But I like what's the other one? So you wouldn't have this, I don't think. Would you have this? Lambuna.
Yeah, buna.
Yeah? Oh.
It's called buna gosht.
Oh, unreal. Wow. That's what I'll have.
Yeah. I'd recommend something called Lucknowi food. Lucknow is like a city in India. And I know you guys love your lamb and meat here.
Yeah.
That's the best mutton that you get in India. We eat goat meat.
Oh, I love mutton. So Caribbean, that's what my dad's from Caribbean. We have mutton.
Of course.
And like curry goat and stuff like that.
Curry goat.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
I'm going to have dinner after this and lunch.
I'd recommend galati kebabs, but I don't know if you'd get a great galati kebab here.
So when I come to India, when I bring my podcast,
bro.
Rio Ferdinand Presents, we're going to bring it to India now. Yeah, we've made a deal, yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
You need to take me on like a food.
Bro, happy to.
Yeah?
Yeah. India welcomes you with an open heart, open arms. We need guys like you to come to our country and help football culture grow.
Well, this is a deal, yeah? We've said it live on.
Bro.
If I don't come, it's because of this guy.
You land up on any day at 4 a.m., I'll leave whatever I'm doing. I'll say goodbye to my girlfriend and I'll take Rio Ferdinand to eat some good food.
All right, cool. Deal. Let's do that.
Brother, this is the end of the episode. I have so much gratitude. The only way I've been ready to do this podcast is because I've done 800 or 900 before you, spoken to cricketers, politicians, actors. There's no way a kid from India who grew up watching Rio Ferdinand would be ready to speak with him. This is a huge day for me personally. Revealing our logo. You're one of my childhood heroes.
Dude.
And just thank you for everything you did. Thank you for the memories. Because in those little moments where maybe I got bullied at school, I had a tough day at home, I just had some sadness in my childhood, I turned to Man United and the intensity would switch me back on. And it kept me going until now. And I know it's going to keep me going for life.
Well, thank you very much. I've really enjoyed it. And hopefully the new Man United will start to do that for the next generation of kids.
Yes, sir.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Thank you so much.
Rio Ferdinand, from the bottom of my heart, deep gratitude, my brother, and thank you from India.
Thank you.
That was the episode for today. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you support everything that Rio Ferdinand is doing. We'll link all of his channels and handles down below. Rio's been one of my all-time favorite footballers that I had the honor of hosting on my own podcast. In my eyes, it's been 5 years of hard work, producing almost 900 episodes that earned me the right to sit in the same room as him, to have this kind of a conversation with him. But this is just the beginning of our football-oriented phase on TRS. Lots more episodes coming your way. We're going to be visiting the UK once again very soon. We'll be visiting America soon as well. So if you're someone who enjoys these sports-oriented episodes for now, check out our massive library of sports stars that we've had on TRS. But also, send in your guest recommendations. There's a lot more coming your way from the global phase of the Ranveer Show.